Hello, everyone. World affairs, current events, whatever you want to call it, world happenings. It's about time. There's been a bit of a kind of miracle surprise that I wasn't expecting. I've been explaining in the previous videos that one party of our two-party system is basically owned by Putin. And I'm not going to go into why I think that right now. I've done that already, and I'll do that in the future again. Um, So I assumed that it would take till at the earliest November for us to even remotely start to get an aid package for Ukraine. And then, the actual, once the elections are over, the actual Congress, everything isn't seated till the following year, a month and a half later, 2 months later. So even that time probably would have went by. Probably, no, it would have. That's what I thought would happen, that it would take probably till next January to get a package for Ukraine going. Because there's a lot of Russian sympathizers in government and out of government. We got millions of traitors in our midst. That's not an exaggeration. A lot of them in government positions, high ones. And they want them back, a lot of the ones that lost. So this is what I assume happened, because no one's really saying, but it's kind of written all over everyone's face. It's also, hello to whoever's saying hi. I can't see your name from this distance on the screen, but anyway, it's obvious. It's written on everyone's face in Congress and the Senate that Speaker Mike Johnson, a very strange dude, if you look into his history, which I won't go into right now, because that would take 3 hours. The guy's got some really serious skeletons. Anyway, he must have made a deal with the Democratic Party, and they must have told him, okay, you give us the Ukraine, Israel, Taiwan thing. We'll make sure you don't get voted out as speaker, because something I forgot to say, there's a rule change with this Congress specifically. Um, the Republicans decided to add a rule where it would only, anyone can ask for a basically a vote of no confidence in the speaker, and we can change speakers at any time. All it takes is one person to, say we want to challenge your speakership and try and vote someone else in. That's what happened with McCarthy. If you remember, he was the Speaker of the House before. Matt Gaetz slept with a 17-year-old. He needs to keep that quiet. That's why he needed McCarthy out the way. McCarthy wasn't keeping it quiet. Not that McCarthy's a good guy. He's a piece of shit, opportunist, terrible human being. So he got a shiv by the traitor caucus in our government, and he's still real bitter about that one. So Mike Johnson, again, it's obvious to me, this is what I assume took place, because that's the only explanation for this passage of a Ukraine bill, an Israel bill, a Taiwan bill. Putin really didn't want this to happen. The people he owns in Congress really didn't want this to happen. Yet it happened anyway, out of nowhere. And again, the only thing that I logically can come up with when I think about it is Speaker Johnson knew if he even attempted to pass anything for Ukraine, that the Traitor Caucus, which he's a part of, would try and shiv him too and vote him out of the speakership and pick someone else. So obviously he must have made a deal with Democrats and a small group of Republicans in Congress where they said, okay, Mike, you give us all this victory here, this, bill getting passed. It looks like we actually accomplished something in government, and they did. Vital aid is going to some countries. The Traitor Caucus tries to vote you out. They invoke this rule, try and vote you out. Us Democrats will vote for you, and this small group of Republicans will vote for you. You don't have to worry. In other words, the motion to vacate, which is what it's called, vacate the speaker's chair, to get rid of the speaker. The motion to vacate has no teeth. Otherwise, they would have done it. Marge and them, Sporkfoot, Three Toes, Margie Sporkfoot. She would have had that vote take place. They would have brought it to the floor. They would have voted on it if they knew they could remove Mike Johnson. That tells me all I need to know, that they didn't bring it to the floor. They know they don't have the votes. Why would they not have the votes? Because the Democratic Party said, we're with you, Mike. You give us this victory on Ukraine, passing the Ukraine bill. We'll vote to keep you in. If the Traitor Caucus, Margie Sporkfoot, Bobo, Matt Gaetz, if they try and do a motion to vacate on your ass, and a small group of Republicans probably joined in as icing on the cake to make sure that Mike's in a solid position. And you could tell by the change in Mike's demeanor lately, Mike Johnson. He's a little bit more calm because he doesn't have to worry about the Traitor Caucus firing his ass every day, because he must have made some deal. And I feel that the points I just gave you, bring one, should bring everyone to the logical conclusion that some deal was made. And it's just, however it happened, I'm just glad it finally happened, because people were dying. Also, Mike Johnson and some other traitors in Congress could stall shit for their master Putin and their orange messiah. In other words, nothing was going to get done. Something actually miraculously did get done way earlier than I thought it would. So thank God for that. At least something's getting done. At least Ukraine will have some weapons to fight back with. And hopefully the next time consideration of a Ukraine package comes up, there won't be this ridiculous waste of time theater with Marge Green and Bobo and Matt Gaetz and all these people that, basically only want fame and fortune for their individual selves. They could care less about their country, their neighbor, their children, their wives, whatever the fuck. They could care motherfucking less. All they care about is elevating themselves as a world figure and making a lot of money doing it. So hopefully all those people will be utterly marginalized, just like they were today, the next time a Ukraine aid package comes up. So thank God that happened. It's about time. It's quite miraculous. I don't know if you've been paying attention to how government's been functioning lately. It's quite miraculous that this got passed. And I'm just glad that less Ukrainians will die now, because it was getting out of hand and Putin was basically able to bomb and fire missiles indiscriminately for the past few months. So hopefully Ukraine turns that all back around and they continue to slaughter any sad-ass Russian that comes in their country wanting to hurt people. Let's go. What else did I want to talk about quickly? This, I know it's a stupid story, but, and I got more than this, don't worry. But everybody was talking about it the past few days. And, me and some other people that know have been saying it for a while. Trump wears diapers and he shits his pants. Now, here's a quote from an ex-jury member in his most recent case. A juror that did not get picked, was dismissed, whatever, for the Stormy case that's coming up, starting Monday, I believe. This person said, once he started snoring, it wasn't long before you heard him passing gas very loudly. Dismissed juror number 74 in the Stormy case. Yeah. And when I heard this, I was like, well, yeah, the people that know Donald's a stank, smells like shit motherfucker because he wears diapers and he's walking around a shitty diaper half the fucking time. We all know this. So when I first heard this, I thought to myself, my God, that's fucking hilarious and disgusting. And I feel sorry for anyone that has to be near him. Then I thought to myself, no, 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 no. This motherfucker wasn't passing gas in the courtroom. He was shitting himself in the courtroom because he wears diapers and he shits himself. And a lot of people know this. And his passing gas days, farting days, if you will, those are long over from all the coke and bullshit he's done in his lifetime. So it sounds to me, and a lot of people are using the term sharded and stuff like that. It seems to me that Donnie Shitbags was shitting his pants right in the courtroom during this past week. Everybody's been talking about it. And, you know, it's just vindication for people like me and others that have been saying this for a while, that he wears diapers and he shits himself. So when you present an entity such as that, who leaves the house in orange face and the most insane comb over I've ever seen in my life, and you add on top of it the diaper thing, you know, it's he's kind of hard to be around, I would say, and kind of hard to take seriously. And if you're trying to present that is an alpha male, I'm sorry, alpha males don't shit themselves again. It's ridiculous. Putting his head on pictures of Rambo and muscle guys and stuff like that. No, he's an old man with dementia who shits himself. That's the reality. My God, the difference between the narrative, the cult narrative, and reality, the difference couldn't be any more stark, could it? But let's get off that topic. Now, I talked about in a video the other day about basically the check bounced. Donald's most recent attempt at paying the bond and appealing a judgment against him. Some judge did him a huge fucking favor, cut it from $470 million down to $175 million. That's a gift that keeps on giving. Anyway, that's a pure gift. So now he only has to come up with $175. He goes to a bond company, Donnie Shitbags. Of course, they're a crooked bond company with all weird affiliations and like people kind of know and don't know. You know what I mean? Typical criminal shady shit. So Donnie Shitbags gets a bond from a company, I don't know, Knight Insurance, something like that. Doesn't matter. Shady entity number 10, whatever you want to call it. So he gets a bond. Well, when they first submitted the bond, the district attorney of New York said, yeah, you missed a lot of paperwork here that proves you can actually pay the $175 should Donald lose his appeal, which is likely. They never filed that paperwork. Then they filed the paperwork. Then the AG looks at it again and says, yeah, this ain't jiving. These numbers you're throwing at us, this paperwork you gave us, this ain't jiving for us. We're not confident you can pay the $175 if he loses his appeal. Now it's gotten to the point, I told you, it's in essence, it's a bounced check. Now we're at the point where the AG has to actually file with the judge and say, we need you to reject this bond proposal by Donald Trump because it doesn't fit the criteria. In other words, these fuckers don't have the money. They're trying to pull one over on you. So now there's going to be hearing with Judge Engeron. And then Donald's going to get, if that bond's not accepted, then he gets 7 more days to come up with a new bond. So think about how many months or weeks Donald has been able to delay this. And that's the real point. The delay is the point of everything. And as far on that front, Donald is winning. The delay front, in my opinion. Because now we have to wait for a hearing that's, I don't know when, in a few days. Then Donald gets 7 more days if they deny that other bond company. What's going to happen next? He's going to go to another shady entity that can't really pay the money, and we'll go through this whole process again, right? And then again, and then again, and then again, until they finally just say, fuck you, we're seizing assets. When a motherfucker comes to you with a bond, with the reputation that Donald has, and it doesn't cut the mustard or pass the mustard or whatever the fuck you want to call it, It doesn't fit the criteria. I would just go right to seizing assets because, again, it's just delay. It's more delay. But anyway, I'll read you like the official what her rationale is. They failed to show there's enough identifiable collateral to back the bond for judgment in Manhattan Supreme Court. That's one reason. In other words, they don't have the fucking money. The surety Trump used to obtain the bond, Knight Specialty, is a small insurer, really, that is not authorized to write business in New York, and it's not regulated by the state's insurance department. Had never before written a surety bond in New York, or in the prior 2 years, in any other jurisdiction, and has a total policyholder surplus of just $1.38 million. In other words, they don't have the money. This is shady. It's a bounced check. But they fail on several fronts, the main front being they bounce the check. They put their word up. They put their reputation as a company up, saying, for Donald, saying we're going to be able to pay this money. Turns out when you look into their business, they don't have the ability to pay the money, not even close. Shocker, huh? Where else was I going? This. I talked about atheists calling Donald Trump the Antichrist. Not me saying it, them saying it. And I just came across one of these the other day, like yesterday. I've been seeing them over the years, here and there, 4 or 5 a day. So this person probably isn't religious or a Christian that posted this. And they said, Christians warn us about the Antichrist for 2,000 years. And when he shows up, they buy a Bible from him. Right? Again, not me saying it. Atheists saying it. That's fascinating to me. I've never seen that before. These aren't people in the church saying this shit. Atheists are. And that's just one variation of the same message that I've been seeing for the past, 5, 6 years with Donald. People that aren't even religious making statements like that. They don't believe in God. It's fascinating. It's fascinating to me. That means Donald is a special kind of vile, where even people that don't believe in it are bringing up biblical theories, biblical prophecy, if you will. Who would have thunk it? My God, you must have to be a pretty vile individual for that to take place. Anyway, that's really all I wanted to talk about. And the main thing I'm just really happy about is the Ukraine thing getting passed, because that's literal lives. People are dying every day. And scumbag Putin shouldn't have free reign over Ukraine when it can be helped. And it can be helped. And believe me, the weapons manufacturers, they're all too eager to help. Believe me. They love shit like this. So since the weapons exist, and since they're an ally of ours, and they're doing a lot of dirty work that the CIA now doesn't have to do, paying in, their own blood and treasure, that's the reason why we should help them. And they deserve the help, because again, if you forget or you're just trolling, Um, I'll put you to bed right here. America asked Ukraine years ago to give up their nuclear weapons, and we got your back from this point forward. Well, we just showed that America didn't have their back, and yet Ukraine gave up their nuclear weapons, which is a very dumb decision, by the way. They should have never done it, but they did. So now they're in this situation. Um, but they deserve the help because they made a deal with the U.S. They trusted the United States and got rid of their nuclear arsenal because we wanted them to. So that's the main reason why they deserve the help. Second is they're an ally of ours, so we should be helping them anyway. And that's basically what happened today. Our allies against Russia, against terrorists, against the Chinese communists. They call those people enemies as well, right? All of our allies against all three of those forces have been given aid. And I personally think that's a good thing. You may not. I understand. You may just be some random jerk-off trolling. I understand. But I don't know what to tell you. I guess a lot of poorly equipped, poorly supplied Russians are about to die again soon, because Ukraine's actually going to have some weapons. And they're not just going to be able to, freely rape and murder and torture people in Ukraine whenever they feel like it, and steal their, property, steal their televisions, their washers, or whatever. So that's the good part. And like I said, I hope it gets to the point where a Russian would rather die than walk Ukraine. And I mean that sincerely. I hope that's where we end up. Anyway, I hope everyone has a wonderful day.